What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today we're going to be checking out the new best teams for the Necrodrakon now that we're back in endless mode here. You can see my more traditional team has got us in 9th last night. We really need to see where we can go with this and try a couple different artifacts. So we're going with the typical Tamija, Thorin, Merrily team. There's a couple options we can try. We can try someone like Scarlita, but she doesn't really move much, which kind of makes me think, nah. I think what I really want to go back to is our tried and true hero that we haven't used in a while, Kruger. See if Kruger can do something for us, because surprisingly Kruger can do some decent damage here as well. So let's take you out, throw you in, put the team kind of like this. Again, evocation spell just really is hard to beat. Evocation spell, we could potentially try quick blade as well. Let's give one attempt like this and then come back with a second one. So I've tried other heroes that are not true damage heroes like Reese and things like that. Reese can do some good damage, but when we get to the endless mode like this right here, man, oh man, does true damage really truly shine. Now, I don't think we need additional healers or support or anything like that. The Rainier is pretty much enough to keep our team alive for as long as we need, in combination with the Thorin giving shields to the lowest HP target. So let's see how this turns out. As far as damage goes, we're well past 20 billion, so we get all the rewards. Rainier does go down right there, which means we're going to be lacking some healing. Oh wow, actually no, we're kind of going down quick with this squad right here. That is interesting. Now Merrily should last quite a while. Same with Tamija. Mainly Tamija's amazing because she has that self-healing. 27-7. I don't know if I necessarily think that is amazing or anything, but you can see the breakdown. Merrily is the good majority of that. We need to come over 27-8, so that was close if we want to try to get another tier up in records. And it's really hard though, because this one, I mean, running support heroes in this one isn't really something you typically do. You could try running something like Damien, but I don't think that would be great either. Honestly, my thought goes to using something like Thorin to increase the overall survivability of our team, while Thorin also increases the damage the enemy takes. So running something like this with Thorin linked up to him potentially, this could mean better damage overall. And again, we're kind of in that weird spot where like we're not quite strong enough for like the perfect endless battle teams to work perfectly, but this should definitely be better. If we can keep our Thorin a little bit healthier, this might be good. Although maybe we should even link, maybe we should link the Thorin to the Rainier, because the Rainier's magic charms are giving us additional healing and such. So that's really, really important. Keeping Rainier alive for as long as possible would be good for us. This is pretty much where our Rainier went down last time, and looks like Kruger's shield saved him right there. Question is it going to be enough to keep going? We just got a big hit right there, and luckily again Thorin did shield our Rainier. Okay, so Rainier lasted a lot longer, which means we might make it more towards the end of the battle, and you can see our damage numbers are kind of reflecting it. I mean, the Thorin keeps getting his butt knocked down over and over. I don't think we can run a hero like Coco or anything, so that was definitely a better run right there. What I want to try now, though, is switching up the artifacts with this team, because this team did look like it was working better. Quick Blade adds a lot of magic and physical defense natively to our heroes, and beyond that, we are getting rid of some of the defense that the boss has. I know we're doing a lot of true damage, but there is still physical damage happening here, so that all could be a good thing, I think. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see how this turns out. Again, I wish we had some sort of mobile moving healer that could do this game mode, because man, imagine if we had like Mikola next week or something like that come out and she like moves around the battlefield to heal. That would instantly make her like an awesome slot to keep your team alive while you need it. But again, Rainier went down really early that time, really early. But again, we don't necessarily need to last the entire battle. We just need to last long enough to get a better damage score here. Thorin took an L right there and went down. Merrily still healing. This is definitely better with Quick Blade from the looks of it. Not by a ton, but definitely some. Yeah, we're not really moving up any places here. Who else could we run besides Thorin? Like, we could try running a support hero instead of Thorin. We could try maybe running a Coco, but I don't necessarily think that's going to work. I don't think a Smokey can work. Rowan probably doesn't do enough healing. Haywin could maybe work. Damien is the only other one I'm thinking of just because he's not on the actual battlefield itself. But I don't know. Go back to this, and put like a Coco back here. Let's see how that turns out. Maybe the shielding from the occasional ultimate on Coco can be good. Although you have to remember, they're not going to be getting a ton of energy here. So they're going to be missing a ton of ultimates, which kind of is one of the reasons why I thought Coco wouldn't be usable. But if she is, that would be kind of cool to see that even in the endless mode, she is being used even when we get higher hero resonance. So let's see how this turns out. Those shields are lasting pretty well. She also has the like perfect magic charm set up at legendary, which means she's providing additional healing. Didn't really matter though. And this looks like probably one of the worst damaging outcomes yet. So maybe not one we want to try out. We could try some other things, some other heroes that maybe buff the overall damage enemies take, like a Lucius, like a Floribel. I don't know if they're going to work out and be a positive for us, but they're worth a shot to see because we do have additional attempts. Let's just chuck them in and see how they go. The only downside with our account right now is we're just 10 levels away from having everybody at the same. Oh man, would that make it easier instead of swapping these around? So we can try something like a Lucius. Putting Lucius on the battlefield here is going to be good, and his seasonal buff is really solid too, because the seasonal buff increases the damage the boss takes at the last like 40 seconds of battle. So maybe this is good, and he does provide shielding. He's also considered a tank, so he has some self-healing when he drops below 30% for the first time. He doesn't move, which means he is going to get hit a ton. But again, he does have shielding for those support heroes like Reinier in the back that might let Reinier live longer and give some more healing. So Lucius is kind of like one of those underdogs. His season skill really came in clutch with his usability overall. The question is this good enough, though? I don't know. No, it's definitely not enough. Because really, Lucius isn't doing too much. Granted, right now, he's going to be providing that extra damage at the very end here. The question is it going to stack up fast enough? And I think the answer is probably not. He's still alive, though, which is surprising. 25, yeah. Still not as good as the Thorin setup as I would imagine here. Yeah, Marilee still kind of being that number one. So one other hero I was thinking of trying was, oh, I forgot who it was now. Hold on. We could try someone like Shakir. Shakir is definitely an option. Man, there's really no one else that I really want to try here. If you guys come up with ideas of other heroes to potentially try, shout it out in the comments. But I think Thorin is still going to be the best setup here. Like I said, we can try running a Shakir in this because the Shakir will give some damage reduction, and of course he will really enjoy that that quick blade spell artifact too, that's giving us that extra defense reduction on the enemy. So let's see how it looks, because he does move around only when he uses his ultimate, really, but he also has that aura around him that basically Tamisia and Corin are staying in, which is really, really good. Although Corin leapt out of it. That feels bad. I really hate how heroes go into this back corner over here. It's just so awkward so many times. But he has self-healing. Again, it might keep him alive just a little bit longer, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Reinier live. Nope, Reinier dies. Shakir barely stayed alive, but he is alive, and he is providing buffs to other heroes until right there. Yeah, it really seems like Thorin protecting the Corin is one of the better strategies here. I do want to try one last thing with the Thorin before we get out of here, because I feel like the last thing I try might be the absolute best. We've tried a lot of random heroes here today. Let's go back to what I thought was going to be the best and see how it turns out. So we're going to swap this one more time for the Thorin. And what we're going to do is we're not going to link him up to the Corin. We're actually going to link him up to... Oh, no, we need Tamisia out there still. We need you gone. I want to link him up to the Reinier and see how that turns out. Something like that. Keeping the Reinier alive for just a little bit longer. Maybe that is a good bonus for us, because that could mean more healing. And of course, he won't die nearly as fast. This could work. It could. We could also try maybe a healing artifact too, but I feel like that's going to be too much of a negative in DPS loss. This is looking good. Our team's pretty healthy. Usually it's the next big ultimate that the boss does that is the question mark here. So right about When is he gonna do it? Right here. So it did keep the Reinier alive, which means he is providing more healing to the team, which might mean they live long enough to actually do more damage. But Thorin did go down. Merrily's still healthy. Tamisia's still kind of healthy. Reinier's still healthy. He's close. It's definitely close. Are we going to break 30? Probably not, right? No, probably not. It's really close, though. Really, really close. Either way, putting the Thorin on the battlefield seems to be the way to go. The last thing I'm going to try is something just a little tankier and additional healing with the light spell. I do think linking the Thorin is the better play here. Keep the Thorin alive just a little bit longer. I don't think linking the Merrily's a super smart idea because she's the last one to live anyway, so we want to try to keep more heroes alive. And now with the light heal spell right here, we're going to get additional healing, and we're going to increase our physical defense and magic defense, which might keep them alive a little longer from those big AoE hits. So let's just see how it turns out with the healing. Okay, so this next one around the 45-second mark is usually when we potentially lose our Reinier. Still lose the Reinier in this setup, but everybody else is pretty healthy. And now that light heal spell is going, so we might get some more healing on heroes like Thorin and such. And it might be enough to kind of keep them alive through one more big boss ultimate. I don't know if it is, because they are kind of getting low. Thorin's probably going to go down here. Yep. So it's kind of a DPS loss. Quick Blade spell definitely seems like the go-to. Evocation spell is probably another good secondary alternative, but that right now is kind of what the peak kind of Necrodrakon strategy looks like. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys next time, and we'll probably have the Crystal Beetle coming up with some pretty cool combinations.